Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game by the legendary Bobby Fischer against Arthur Feuerstein, and this was from a blitz chess game from the Manhattan Blitz Chess Tournament from New York from 1971. Fischer had the white pieces and this was a 5 minutes blitz chess game, and it is said that Bobby Fischer was an extremely strong blitz chess player. He was making his moves instantly, he was arrogantly confident, and he was only thinking for a few seconds and putting a lot of pressure on his opponents. So Fischer was basically a blitz chess monster. So Bobby Fischer starts the game with e4, we have c6, the Caro-Kann defense, knight to d2, g6, bishop to g7, and this is known as the Breyer variation of the Caro-Kann defense. Bishop to g2, knight to f6, developing the knight, and both players castled, exchanging the pawns, developing the knight, and then rook to e1, e5, knight to c4, attacking the e-pawn, and black is defending. b3, bishop to b2 is coming, b5, and black is hoping to kick the knight back and then defending the pawn much more easily. But in this position, white has a very strong move. So can you see that move? What would you do in this position if you had the white pieces? The move is bishop to a3. So this is skewer, attacking the queen, and after moving the queen, capturing the rook. So what else? Black is pushing the pawn and blocking. But this time, mission accomplished. Bishop to b2, and Fischer is also aiming the pawn again. Both the knights and also the bishop is attacking the pawn, and defending this is tricky. So in a 5 minutes blitz chess game, black didn't see the best defense and black played bishop to a6. Well, moving the knight back, or maybe knight to h5, and then defending the pawn with the bishop is possible, but then a3 and computer engine says white is much more better. So we have bishop to a6, and Fischer simply captures the pawn, and Bobby Fischer is a pawn up. So knight takes, bishop takes on e5, and rook over, defending the queen, and c5. So bringing the bishop and then attacking the pawn is the idea. a3 and bishop to b7, capturing the pawn, and then queen to b2 by Bobby Fischer. So not defending the pawn, and impressively Bobby Fischer made a very deep calculation, and we have knight to h5, and this favors for Bobby Fischer as he simplifies the game. But what happens if capturing the pawn? Then bishop takes bishop, and this is losing the piece. So if trapping the bishop, actually white has a very strong move in this position, and that is knight takes on g5. If capturing, then bishop takes on e4. And if bishop takes on e4, then black is toast, black is sandwich, black is cheeseburger. Because if queen takes on e4, then queen to g7, check, mate. This is what Bobby Fischer saw in his mind's eye. And in this position, you might also ask what happens if bishop takes on e4, then rook takes on e4, and getting two bishops for the exchange, and white is winning. If trapping the bishop this time, then white has this very strong move, rook to e1, pinning the knight, and if unpinning, then here comes another bone-crushing move, which is tricky to find. Can you see the next move for white? Then knight to e5, of course, attacking the queen. If capturing the knight, then bishop takes on e4, and if trapping the bishop, then queen takes on e5, and then if capturing, then check, and if moving the king, getting checkmated on e7. So rook takes, queen takes, forking the king and the rook, and black is toast. So this is why in this position we have queen to b2 and knight to h5, but simplifying the game, and this favors for Bobby Fischer, just like I said, as he is a pawn up. And not just that, but he was playing extremely accurately, arrogantly confident, and he was defending very well in a blitz chess game, and he was making all these moves instantly. Queen to e5, exchanging the queens, and then rook goes down and attacking the pawn, but simply defending. Black is hoping for the best, and then knight to e6, knight to c4. After defending the rook, knight to a5. Rook over, pinning the knight, pushing the pawn and capturing the bishop, simplifying the game and capturing the pawn, and then knight to d4, Now it looks like white has to be careful because both attacking the c pawn and also knight to f3 is possible, forking the king and the rook. But in this position, Bobby Fischer simply captures the pawn and this attacks the rook. So we have rook takes on c2. I didn't analyze this with the engine, but I think if knight to f3 moving, and I think capturing the pawn doesn't make any sense because of king to g2. So if knight takes rook, if I'm not making any mistake, then bishop takes on c8, and this also favors for white. So let's say defending the rook and attacking the bishop, capturing, and actually white is 3 pawns up. So this is why capturing the pawn and then rook takes on c2, simplifying the game, this only favors for Bobby Fischer. And Bobby Fischer played g takes on h7, this is check, in between move check, not defending the rook of course. And black can't capture the pawn, black played king to g7. If king takes on h7, then this is a nasty fork. Bishop to f5, forking the king and the knight. So after moving the king, bishop takes on c2. So after g takes on h7, king to g7, and Bobby Fischer played another killer move. Can you see that move? What would you do in this position? Maybe defending the rook comes to mind. Well, indeed Bobby Fischer moved his rook, but which square is the best square for the rook? What would you do if you had the white pieces? Well, the move is very simple. Rook to e8 by Bobby Fischer. And Arthur Feuerstein is in big trouble because let's say if moving the knight, then pushing the pawn, check, and black is not going to survive. So threatening to push the pawn and promoting the queen. So there is no time for moving the knight. King takes on h7, and Fischer played bishop to f5, forking the king and the knight. And after capturing the knight, Bobby Fischer is a piece up, and also he's 2 pawns up. This is too much for Arthur Feuerstein. He resigned against Bobby Fischer. So this was a 5 minutes blitz chess game. Bobby Fischer was a blitz chess maniac. He was incredible, unbelievable. So you should check out, you should read more about Bobby Fischer and how he was playing blitz chess when he was at his peak in 1970s. In early 1970s, sadly, as we all know, Bobby Fischer retired. After 1972, he didn't play with Anatoly Karpov, but in a speed chess game, I'm 100% sure that Bobby Fischer would defeat anyone at that time. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time with more interactive chess games. Stay safe, take care, and I also wish good luck in your chess as well. Bye bye.